Hiya! Today we are going to look at transferring images onto different surfaces using PVA glue. So what do I have? I have an old butcher's block that somebody gave me. Sorry, miles away. An old butcher's block that somebody gave me, and it's in a bit of a sorry state. The main part of it, I've taken it all apart, started to paint it. It's coming up really nicely, but the worktop was disgusting. I say it was going in the tip. She had found it when she moved into her new flat. I think it had been there for hundreds of years from the looks of things, and the top was covered in a really chipped formica, and it was just a chipboard underneath. So I've taken the top off, we've gotten rid of that, and I now have an old piece of wooden worktop. I say old, it's a fairly new wooden worktop, but as in it was a piece we didn't need. It was an offcut from when we did our kitchen, and I have decided I would like to make it all different colours. And loads of different patterns. Now I could sit and paint it, but there's an effect that I've seen that I really want to have a go at, so I thought I would share it with you and we can experiment together. So I've just started it. I'm not going to do the whole thing in front of you because otherwise you'll get bored after. And what I've started doing is I've started painting sections of it, because obviously it's just made of panels of wood rather than just one big block. I've started doing sections of it with a paint wash. So I've just taken a normal emulsion, watered it down. This is actually a colour I mixed. I've watered it down and started to paint it on, and then before it dries too much I've given it a wipe off, so it is just a wash, so you can still see the grain of the wood, which is what I really wanted. And I've also started to print off the patterns that I want to incorporate. So I've got a variety of different sections. Some of them are still printing even as we speak, and I am going to attach those to here with the PVA glue. Now you're going to think I'm mad, but I have done this before and it comes out beautifully. Now it's a kitchen work surface, so I am going to wax over the top of it and perhaps varnish, just so you're aware before people start saying, oh, it's not hygienic. So I'm literally going to take my PVA, and you want a good layer of PVA glue, and we are just going to spread the PVA all over the pattern side of your print. Now this has been printed out using a just a normal household printer. Doesn't matter whether it's laser or whatever the other one is. I'm not very technical. I've also done this in magazines, and it does work just as well with magazines as well, but they didn't have the patterns I wanted. And I am going to lay this, now I've cut this to size already, on the section that I would like it to be on eventually. So bear in mind, if you do words, they're going to come out kind of flipped almost. Now I am going to continue to cover my top with all my different patterns, and then I'm going to put a sheet of plastic over the top of it. It'll just be a black plastic bag, nothing technical. And I'm going to apply some white weight to it to hold it down, and I'm going to let it dry probably for 2 days, because I want it to be totally dry before I move on to the next section. So I will see you in 2 days time. Well, I won't, I'll see you in about 30 seconds, because I'm going to stop the video and then I'll start it again when I come to remove the paper and reveal the pattern. I will see you in about 3 seconds. Hiya, so I'm back. It's actually been 2 days because time has kind of run away with me a little. So last time I was with you, about 30 seconds ago, because you're watching the same video, I had stuck down my strips of coloured paper, and I was waiting for them to dry. So they have dried. I've actually started to remove a lot of them. Now I wanted a rustic look, so I've been quite rough with mine because I didn't want it to look perfect, because the butcher's block that I'm popping it on top of isn't perfect. It's quite an old piece, so I thought it looked really nice if we went with that rustic look. But I really like the effect this gives you. So I don't know if you can see there. So I've got all my different patterns that are shown. They're not right next to each other because I wanted those gaps. They've got little bits of the paper still attached because that's what I wanted. I've lifted some of the coloured areas out because I wanted to look worn as well. Now I've left one because I want to show you how I've done it. So this pink one here I've barely touched. What I have touched is just where I've kind of run over a little bit as I was working. So all you're going to do, so you've stuck it down, you've allowed it to dry, and you're now just going to soak it with water. Now you don't have to use a brush, you can use a kitchen sponge if you want. It just happens to be a brush in my water, and this is just plain water, and you can see it starts to go, well it would if your water was cleaner, just transparent almost. So your pattern starts to show. When it gets to that stage, you're almost at the point where your backing paper will start to come away and just leave your design stuck to the wood. So at that point you want to just start rubbing in little circles to remove that paper that the ink is attached to. Now I'm sure it's more technical than this, but by my understanding the ink remains stuck to the glue, which is stuck to the wood, and the paper comes away. Now what you'll find is there are certain colours where you won't be left with anything. So white, for example, doesn't actually print because the paper is white. So where it's white, the wood will show through. Does that make sense? In my head it made a lot of sense. I'm hoping it does. If you've put too much glue on and it's overlapped and gone onto the back, you will find it harder to remove the paper. I quite like that effect. I think it adds to that kind of aged look. And if you press too hard, which I will show you in a minute, in fact here, let's do a little bit of a scrub here, it lifts away. But that's, I say, depending on the look you're going for, that can be absolutely fine. So once I've finished, I then have just, well not varnished, you could varnish over the top of it if you wanted to, but I have waxed over the rest of this just to give it a nice finish and to make it a little bit, or just to protect it a little bit more really. So that's how to transfer a printed image onto another surface, and it does work with wood as well, and that's it really. So the next time you see this will be on my Facebook page, and it will be on the top of a butcher's block. So come along onto Facebook, Mona Witten Art and Events, and you'll be able to see the finished piece in about 3 days. Thank you.